Hello, I'm Natalie Jensitz here on behalf of Emergent Wellness, and today we're going to be talking with Dan Pearson about his experience with Emergent Wellness and just a little bit about his health story in general to give us a little inspiration. Dan, welcome and thank you for joining us today.
Thanks, Natalie. Hi, everybody.
Dan, you have a wonderful story and just a huge heart to just lift other people up and also help build this community that we're working on together. So let's start by just briefly telling people, what is your overarching storyline? What you went from point A to B with this process and with the help of Emergent Wellness.
Oh, sure. Well, it's a fantastic group of practitioners, I have to say, and they have supported me on this progress and this path that I'm on. But I, a couple of years ago, was diagnosed with cancer, and there was the usual treatments of chemo, surgery, and radiation that I could go through, or I could choose a different path. Well, I chose a non-traditional path that led me to Emergent Wellness and these practitioners. Now, none of them treated my cancer, but they treated me along the way with the side effects, the pain, the tiredness that I experienced, just lack of energy. So all of them were able to contribute in some way to keeping me in my best form while I went through the more severe treatments. And the treatments I'm speaking of were a genotherapy called CRISPR. But there are some side effects. They're temporary. But during the treatment phase, you do get tired. You do have body aches and pains that travel around and move. And these practitioners were so good to really work with me on solving those issues as I went through the treatment.
Looking back, did you try things that didn't work as well and help you, or what struggles did you face that you felt more relief from after being around these providers through your works?
Yeah, well, the pain was a big piece of it because I'm not allowed to take any pain relief pills, no painkillers, no ibuprofen or any of those while I'm on the treatment. So we had to find out a way organically to deal with this pain. And so we did different therapies, different physical therapies, different light therapies. And the advantage for me working with the Emergent Wellness folks were that they were all working together on my behalf. So if one thing didn't work, then I would get suggested to another practitioner to try something else. And so it was really nice to have these options and to have providers that were interested in my well-being and helping me find my way. But the pain was the biggest thing they were able to help me with. Because once again, I wasn't allowed to use the traditional methods of popping a pill.
Yes, the pills. So what, can you share a few of the techniques that you were able to use that were helpful?
Yeah, so it's really interesting because the CRISPR will settle into certain parts of your body that are damaged or need healing or repair. And so I had a spot in my lower back on the right side that I just couldn't get past. It was keeping me up at night, and walking or trying to do mild exercise was a real challenge. And I tried a few different things, but I actually settled in with Shigeko, who does yoga therapy. And it was really fascinating to watch how she worked with my body. So she uses somatic movement, which are very subtle, slow movements. And then you get your body in a certain position and you hold it. And these slow, deliberate motions were able to relax those areas that were full of pain. And usually by the time I'd spend an hour with her, I had full relief. It would last for a few days. So it was a continuing process of going, and then the pain would shift to another part of my body. And so she'd have to design a different treatment for that part of my body. But she was able to do that continually for months and months and really saved me from that nagging pain that I was experiencing. It gave me relief. It gave me hope. So that was one thing that's non-traditional, about as non-traditional as you can get, but highly, highly effective.
And it doesn't sound like it's that much yoga as we know it.
It's not yoga as we know it. In fact, I almost wish we didn't have to use that term because it's really just very subtle movements. You are in certain positions that are similar to yoga, but not exactly yoga. And the somatic movement is developed from those movements. But Shigeko has even found a way to add her own movements into it that maybe aren't traditional. With her experience, she's learned how to use different things to soothe your pain, or even get joints moving again. She was showing me how parts of my body weren't awake anymore. Certain muscle groups had kind of gone to sleep for lack of use. And once she woke those up, they were able to help balance out parts of my body that were in pain and maybe being overly used. But she just did a great job. And it was really interesting, educational, and absolutely helped me where I needed it the most.
Well, and you said something that caught my attention, because you said the muscle groups had been kind of stagnant, I guess, from lack
Yeah.
of movement, but you seem to be a very active person. So how does that happen?
Yeah, and that's a great question, because I asked the same question, because I am active. I run, I work out the gym, I do hot yoga, I do all these things to try and keep my body in top condition. But even doing the things that I do, there's certain muscle groups that don't get activated. And some of it's just lifestyle. We spend a lot of time sitting the way we are nowadays. So there's certain muscle groups that you may go to the gym and work lower body, but you don't work your IT bands on the outside of your leg, or, the hip flexors and things of that nature. So we can't hit them all, it doesn't seem to me, even though I try and be very diverse. And sitting, sitting is not great for us. We do a lot of that nowadays. So certain muscles may not be active for 8 or 9 hours a day, and maybe more as you go home and sit at home after work. So those muscle groups can be a challenge for sure.
I've been in touch with my IT bands in a new way recently, and not a pleasant way.
Yes.
It's amazing how much knowledge is out there that we don't hear in everyday medicine. So you don't hear about the minute details of nutrition and what that can do for you, and these very intricate movements that Shigeko is helping you create, that move parts of your body that you didn't realize weren't moving.
Yes, very true. And you're right. And this is another beautiful thing about Emergent Wellness, because we've got this stable of providers that share information between each other. We have access to a lot of information that we might not get otherwise. Just searching on your own can be a challenge, but you come in and you get redirected and referred, and they'll reach out to other providers to get information on your behalf. So it's really a great situation for exactly that.
Yeah, I've experienced the same too, with just seeing all the knowledge that's floating around, the brilliance and experience. It's been amazing. Going back to your broader diagnosis of cancer, what, just give us a little glimpse of that, your emotional pieces there, and just the bullet points of that journey is.
Okay, so a key word that you used there, Natalie, was emotional state. This is a big piece of anybody's wellness journey. And especially when you hear the word cancer, it's such a scary term nowadays, full of fear, and even the treatments are scary. And the thing that I noticed on my journey was I didn't have anybody on the journey with me. I didn't have somebody to say, well, let's go try this, or let's try that, or I know somebody that had this experience. And so one of the things that we're doing at Emergent Wellness, I think, are really going to benefit patients is we're going to have something right now we're calling the steward. And the steward will stand beside the patient and empower the patient to make decisions on their own behalf, and give somebody the opportunity to bounce ideas off of, and give them direction to try different treatments and different people with different modalities of operation. I think this is a key element that Emergent Wellness is developing. I felt very alone. I felt that the Western medicine doctors were very rigid and in their belief systems. And I wanted to have a broader knowledge. And at Emergent Wellness, I was granted that. I was given information and knowledge and sharing my ailments with other practitioners. And it's just that open feeling that really helped me emotionally. It kind of brought me back to a place of confidence moving forward instead of a place of fear. And the attitude that the providers gave me, this sense of positivity, this sense of, hey, we're going to find a way to get you through this, was what I needed. Not the doom and gloom of the Western doctor. And I know they're not all that way. That was just my experience this time. But the philosophy behind Emergent Wellness is all working together on behalf of the patient. And that's what we really need. And that emotional, that solid emotional state, that positivity is what gets you through to healing.
And it actually aids the healing, as you've talked about before too, because you have that resistance otherwise, or doubt, then the treatments aren't going to work as well.
That's exactly right.
I also agree, like, it gives you a new sense of hope. Like, I've met people through Emergent Wellness that one person has had cancer 3 times and she's never had chemo or radiation. She's gone other routes to overcome it. And it's just like, just when you might feel hopeless or like you really have this only one choice, that is not the truth at all.
It's
And
not the truth.
there's so many options for you when you are surrounded by so many amazing providers.
Yes, exactly. And the collaboration from the collective is what really sets them apart. You just feel like you're being handed off to a family member each time. You're part of this Emergent Wellness family, and we're all about making each other well and being the best people we can be, whether it's physically or emotionally or financially. We look at all those aspects in the big picture of our life visions, and that's what really sets this program apart from others.
Right. Great segue. I was just thinking about the 7 pillars of well-being, and you just named about 3 of them. And in professional and happiness, and it's like taking people as a whole, not just focusing on your physical health, but all of these pieces to the puzzle, all the pillars that can work together or fight one another when you're trying to go to the next level in any of these areas of your life.
You're right, Natalie. I mean, we need to look at it holistically. If you're having trouble financially, it's going to affect you physically.
Mm-hmm.
If you're struggling emotionally, the same thing. It can affect the other 6 pillars of life. So it's important to look at it from that 30,000-foot view, and shore up all of the pillars so that you can have that healthy lifestyle that we all crave.
Right. And Emergent Wellness right now has a lot of great health practitioners, but we're covering the gamut. So it's not just, there's going to be help in all of these areas. And we really want to make everybody feel valued for the person that you are. Everybody has something to contribute to this world, and we want to help you to be able to do that and enjoy it. And just given that thought, Dan, like, what you have value in addition to what you're sharing here today in the work world, in your doings outside of Emergent Wellness even. So would you want to share what you do professionally or give a little plug to something else that you feel very passionate about?
Well, sure. I'd be happy to. Thank you for that. Emergent Wellness is my passion right now. My education and experience is in real estate. So I do commercial, I do residential, I help people with their developments and all kinds of things to do with real estate. I also am an entrepreneur. I've been in a lot of different businesses, from restaurants to online job services. You name it, I've probably tried it. I enjoy putting businesses together. I enjoy solving a problem for people. I enjoy serving and lifting others to maybe heights they didn't think they could achieve themselves. So that's kind of what I do. I kind of have my fingers wherever somebody needs me, but I'm always there to support somebody improving their life.
And we can see that just from working with you through Emergent Wellness, and we really appreciate all that you're doing to help grow this community. So thank you, thank you, thank you. We really appreciate you. And yes, anything else you would like to add?
Oh, just that I appreciate everybody that's part of this project. We're going to do some great things moving forward. We're going to serve a lot of people, and we may end up changing the world. It's very exciting.
It is.
So thank you, Natalie.
Thanks, Dan. This is Dan Pearson. You guys have a great rest of your day.